Confusing. It's fucking confusing. Now going into this, I really didn't watch many DC movies. I watched, a lot of the Batmans actually, but I don't understand any of the lore. Now I know a little bit, but even watching the movies, to me personally, it doesn't get explained a lot. And I know the DC universe is like extremely vast. Watching this movie is like watching The Mandalorian. It's like you can watch it and enjoy it, but there are going to be some like really confusing parts if you haven't read up on the lore. And I feel like that's the way with like a lot of DC movies. But honestly, the movie was pretty good. Now, I will go into this with the preface that I've not seen the original Justice League. I was going to watch it before doing this video, but this has been out for like 2 weeks now, and I need to go ahead and make this because I just finished it yesterday. I got HBO Max. I wasn't too keen on watching like a 4-hour movie, which is a big drawback of this movie, I might say. So I went ahead and I got HBO Max and I watched it, and it took like, I'm pretty sure it took like 2 or 3 days to actually watch. Why is this not focusing? I like how I turn off autofocus and then it focuses up. It took like 3 days to watch, honestly. It was just, a lot of this movie is just a bunch of origin stories in my mind. It seems like it gives an origin story for, like, I know origin stories for Cyborg, clearly. Aquaman may even be an origin story. His people an origin story. Wonder Woman or Superwoman, whoever that woman was. It may even be an origin story for her. And I now know that a lot of these characters, especially Batman, exist in like a multiverse. This movie hints at it, and I actually did some reading online afterwards because it's just a lot of things just didn't make sense to me, and I was like, anytime there's like an incarnation or a different actor playing Batman, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, there's no way it could line up because it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Because he has a dream about the Joker, spoilers by the way, at the end of the movie, and it's just like, this just doesn't line up with the Dark Knight and whatnot. So apparently it exists in a multi-universe. I did not know that, but that is extremely fascinating. I'm the lore type of guy. I like learning about all this shit. So that is like really cool to me. I really need to get caught up on the lore. There's a fucking lot. But like, they introduce you to a lot of characters that it just seems like they expect you to know. Like, just like the Mandalorian, like I was saying, like when Ahsoka shows up, it's like, if you don't know who she is, good, great, you'll probably enjoy it. But if you know who she is, you'll be like, wow, this is awesome. So this movie has a lot of that going on. And I want to talk about something that a lot of people riff about this movie, especially I've seen Critical's review, and that is the CGI. Now, a lot of people are going to get mad because a lot of the CGI happens in the scene with Batman and Flash and whatnot. The scenes with Batman are fucking awesome. This is my favorite Batman, I'm pretty sure. I'm not saying it's my favorite Bruce Wayne. Ben Affleck plays Batman in this, and he's the same Batman from Batman vs. Superman. But dude, I love the fucking scenes in this with him. He's got like that Arkham City game type feel. I know it's like the CGI is not that good, but I almost love like the shittiness to it. It's just something I like cling to. I watch it, I'm like, this is like I can detach myself from the reality of it almost. And like, yeah, this is pretty unbelievable, but it's still fucking awesome. Like, there are like certain scenes, going back to Star Wars, where like you just watch a scene and you're like, yeah, that's just not believable. But this is like sort of believable. Like, I can suspend my disbelief, but I can like acknowledge like how it's like going back and playing a bunch of N64 games. Like, yeah, this like shittiness retro appeal is what I really like. It's not that bad, but some of the scenes look sort of cartoonish when he's using the grappling hook or he's using the big fucking like Gatling gun to just destroy all these like flying things. I enjoyed it, honestly. My favorite scenes were with Batman as far as action goes. So that is definitely not a complaint for me. Obviously it could have been better, but I like, personally, not objectively, I personally like the shittiness to it, honestly. And another thing I want to touch on is the length of the movie. It's a 4-hour long movie. Dude, there's not a soul in this movie who wants to sit down and watch a movie that people already don't like. Justice League, it's not bad, but I haven't heard very good things about it. And now you want to watch a 4-hour version of that? I mean, come on, man. Come on. a lot of people don't want to do that, and I like movies a lot, and I like long things, especially if it's got deep lore to it. Like if they made like a Legend of Zelda movie, it would be 12 hours long, but I'm cool with that. It'd probably be hot garbage, but I would be fine with that. So maybe if I was into the lore, I would want to watch a 4-hour movie. But there's just to me, a lot of throwaway scenes, and a lot of scenes that just don't make sense. Like there's a lot of this movie that I was watching, I was like, yeah, that I really don't get, like, why this is here. And that's what makes me think, it's like, how bad could the original Justice League be? Maybe I can make a video talking about the Justice League after this, the regular Justice League. But I know, like, the general consensus is that Zack Snyder's Justice League is just better. Literally just all around better. And I don't know, man. I really don't know, because a lot of things I was sitting there watching. I know it's not just deleting scenes, right? I understand that. Like, there's even a lot of lighting differetions and a lot of even cut scenes in this version. So I understand that that's not necessarily all that the produced theatrical version of Justice League is. But I could go and watch that for myself, honestly. But 4 hours long, no one wants to sit there and watch a movie for 4 hours, especially with a bunch of throwaway scenes to me. And finally, I want to talk about the casting. The casting in this movie is awesome. Literally awesome. There was times where I was just like, this is another thing that made me think about the multiverse, is whenever they bring out Commissioner Gordon and a completely different guy plays him. It's actually like the guy who runs the Daily Bugle from the Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire. So that had me thinking, I was like, wouldn't they just, like, they already recast Batman? So that made me think, like, obviously they don't exist in the same universe or timeline or whatever. But anyways, going back to the casting. Dude, I don't know the dude's name, but the guy who played Flash was fucking awesome. A standout in this movie. A literal standout. And you've got fucking William Dafoe in this movie playing like the father of Aquaman. Fucking awesome. Man, Flash, as soon as he enters the scene, he's got some dope scenes in here. He's got like sort of like that Deadpool, like funny guy. Deadpool's the only other DC movie I've seen besides like a bunch of the Batmans, I think. Fucking awesome. Literally awesome. I'm sitting there watching this movie like, dude, I can't think of a person who would play Flash better than this dude, honestly. Like, it was literally, as soon as I seen some scenes, I literally texted my buddy who's into this, and I was like, dude, this right here, this is like a fucking awesome cast right here. Just his personality fit surprisingly well. Like, you would think of like a superhero like Flash, like off dome, you'd be like, it's pretty serious. He's probably not the most laid back dude. He's the fastest man on the fucking planet. But he's funny. He's like down to earth as well. Like, he's not too good for Justice League. Like, when they come to him trying to unite everybody, he's like, yep, I'm fucking in. And then he's just, a lot of things he's just trying to impress his dad. So that's the last thing I want to talk about. The casting is great. The woman who plays Wonder Woman, she was awesome as well. I'm not sure if some of the voice actors of like Darkseid and Wolfenstein is what I want to say his name was, like the underling under Darkseid. I don't really know who voice acted them, but they sounded awesome as well. Darkseid is like the Thanos of the DC universe. So the casting was a standout, and for me personally, just personally, not objectively, I love some of the CGI'd over-the-top scenes in this movie. So I don't know what I would give this movie, because there are a lot of drawbacks. I honestly don't think it's like some amazing movie. I'd probably give it like a 7. Like, it's a movie that I could actually watch again, and that's the only... So you kind of get with this dilemma where it's a 4-hour long movie. Do you want to sit down and watch a 4-hour long movie again? But there's so many things you forget in between. It's like, yeah, I could see myself watching it again, because there's some stuff I forget because the movie was so long, so I could go back over that. Because if you're looking at like a 20-minute like episode of something, you'll never forget any second of it. So what's the point of going back and rewatching? But that's the risk, right? If you make a 4-hour movie that's complete garbage, no one's going to watch it. Rewatch it, rather. So, yeah, I think a 7 is a sweet spot for it. Maybe if I dominated some of the lore, I would come back with like an 8. But for me personally, as a casual DC viewer, 7.